Taught that God's or our enemies are defeated through praise. David in the 8th Psalm in the 2nd verse said that through the praise of children and infants, you have established a stronghold against your enemies to silence the foe and the avenger. I can't describe how important this truth is. We don't just battle our own stuff. We also battle the stuff that the world of darkness tries to do to us. I don't like to talk about it. I don't like to give headlines to it. But I can't somehow, I can't snap my fingers and cause evil to disappear. Or the personification of evil that comes to us and tries through his minions to affect our lives in negative ways. There's some philosophy in Christianity that believes the way to deal with the darkness is to focus on it, to talk about it, to speak to it, and so on. And there is certainly a place for that, I suppose, but it's not really the place we're supposed to live. The way to deal with darkness is to turn the light on. The way to deal with darkness is to turn the light on. And when the enemy is coming to mess you up, going as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour, you become very devourable when you give him a platform through your negativity and criticism and oh me, oh my, and how bad everything is and all that kind of stuff. The Apostle Paul tells us in the New Testament not to give room to the devil. And some of us have built gigantic additions on our houses and said, come and live here, because we have created an environment of negativity where the enemy just wants to come and live. He loves for people to be negative. You know something? If you're struggling with depression, and that's a real thing, and it needs to be acknowledged, and it needs to be dealt with, all right? I in no way minimize the reality of it. But let me just guarantee you something. It will not help you to overcome depression at whatever level by constantly thinking about how depressed you are. Now that can be easier said than done, I understand. I'm not trying to act as if there's not something incredibly important about the reality of what people suffer through in their lives. All right? Go listen to the last few months of preaching. All right? But I'm going to tell you that the more you focus on the darkness you're experiencing, the darkness isn't lessened, it becomes greater. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger in your mind, in your life, and so on and so forth. And it affects everything about you. At some point, you've got to make yourself quit thinking about the negative things in your life and start thinking about the positive things. And guys, the most positive thing in your life is God and His presence and His glory and His power. At some point, you've got to make yourself change the conversation from the darkness to the light. And the key way to do that is through praising God.